Hi, good afternoon. It's not good morning anymore. I didn't get this started till very late in the day. I had to work. Go figure. It's Thursday, August 27th, 2026. This is Wallpaper 4. So we talk about 4 franchises, 4 players, 4 careers that really don't have much to do with each other, except all 4 of them share my screen on my little laptop today. Cats. Astros first, Warriors second, Blues third, Panthers fourth. And today, we're starting with a guy who's almost comically overqualified to appear this far down Houston Astros list. Robin Roberts. He's a Hall of Fame pitcher. He's not an Astros Hall of Famer. His Hall of Fame career doesn't have an Astros cap on it. He's one of the defining pitchers of the 1950s Phillies. 6 consecutive 20-win seasons. More than 300 complete games. Can you imagine? Eventually, 286 career victories. And then, near the very, very end, Houston happened. Roberts was 38 years old in 1965. Baltimore released him at the end of July, and Houston picked him up in early August. What that means is one of the great pitchers of the previous generation suddenly arrived in the Astrodome during the very first season the franchise was called the Astros. And his first Houston start could hardly have been scripted any better. August 9th, 1965, the Phillies come to town, and Roberts throws a 4-hit shutout. Houston wins 8-0, career victory number 277. There's almost something just too tidy about that. He's the old Phillies ace, supposedly nearing the end, putting his former club away in the brand new Astrodome. He didn't just have one Nostalgia Night masterpiece. Roberts made 10 starts for Houston that year and went 5-2 with a 1.89 earned run average, 3 complete games, 2 shutouts, 76 innings, and 10 walks. 10. He came back in 66, but the clock finally started to catch up to him. Houston released him in July. He finished the year with the Cubs, and that's it. So Robin Roberts isn't really part of the central Astros story. In a weird way, he's better than that. He's one of those pieces of connective tissue that reminds you, baseball history doesn't arrive in neat little franchise boxes. This is a pitcher who debuted in 1948, somehow ending up wearing Astros colors in the Astrodome. And that's our Astro today, Robin Roberts. And now, David Wood. His career is almost the exact opposite kind of story. Nobody built a franchise around David Wood. Instead, David Wood built a career out of being useful. He's a 6'9" forward out of Nevada, undrafted. His NBA career took him through Chicago, Houston, San Antonio, Detroit, Golden State, Phoenix, Dallas, Milwaukee. And that's only the NBA portion of his basketball life. He also played overseas in Spain, Italy. He played professionally for many years after his final NBA game. This is a real basketball lifer, and Golden State got him for 1994-95. That wound up being arguably the most substantial NBA season of his entire career. 78 games, 13 starts. About 17 minutes per night, 5.5 points, 3 rebounds, 47% from the floor. Nobody's hanging those numbers from the rafters, and that's not what a David Wood career looks like. There's a particular type of player who lasts because coaches know exactly what they're getting. Put him in for 12 minutes. Ask him to defend somebody bigger. Grab a couple rebounds. Hit an open shot. Don't need the offense built around you. Don't need 20 touches. Just be functional. Hello, Angel. And Wood was functional enough to play 412 NBA games despite never being drafted. He played for 21 more games with Golden State in 95-96. Happy birthday, Qwerty. Before that season turned into another tour. Warriors, Suns, Mavericks. And he finished his NBA career in Milwaukee. So David Wood wasn't a Warrior for that long. But 99 games is long enough to leave us little statistical footprint behind. And on Wallpaper 4, that's enough. David Wood, Golden State Warriors. And now, here's today's biggest name. Hello, Marwa. I'm 54. We're talking about Glenn Anderson. 6 Stanley Cups. 5 with Edmonton, another with the 94 Rangers. More than 1,000 NHL points. Hello, Lucia. Hockey Hall of Fame. And then, immediately after winning that cup in St. Louis, in New York, Anderson lands in St. Louis. The 94-95 NHL season was shortened to 48 games by the lockout. Anderson played 36 of them for the Blues, and he was already 34. But he still produced 12 goals, 14 assists, 26 points, and a +9. He also had one of those uniform number quirks that I like. He initially wore 36 for St. Louis, then he switched to number 9 late in the season. So yeah, if you're picturing Glenn Anderson in that blue sweater with the number 36, that's real. He wasn't just hanging around and collecting a paycheck. 26 points in 36 games, that's a respectable pace for a veteran wing who'd already played more than 1,000 NHL games. JPDP, praying for Nepal. Look at the names around him on that Blues roster. Brett Hull, Brandon Shanahan, Al McInnes, Guy Charbonneau, Esa Tikkanen. That's an absurd collection of hockey history sitting in just one locker room. Anderson played 6 playoff games that season, then came back to St. Louis in 95-96. He played 15 more regular season games for the Blues before returning to Edmonton. But he also appeared in 11 playoff games for St. Louis that year. So even though his Blues chapter was short, it wasn't imaginary. It wasn't a one-night cameo. He had 51 regular season games, 17 playoff games, and one of the great postseason players of his generation wore the blue note. Glenn Anderson's today's blue. And finally, Michael Jackson, or Mike Jackson, and that saved broadcasters across America from having to make the same tired joke every Sunday. Cornerback, number 2. Unlike the first 3 guys in this story today, his Panther story is still being written. Carolina acquired Jackson from Seattle just before the 2024 season, and he went from being a late addition to starting all 17 games. Then he did it again. Year 2's better. So he's been in the Panthers for 2 years, started every game. 4 interceptions in that second season, 19 defense passes, 1 forced fumble, 1 touchdown. And that touchdown came against Matt Stafford. Jackson jumped the throw and took it 48 yards the other way for 6 points. He also had a 54-yard interception return against Atlanta and another interception in the end zone against Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy. And that's production. There's something satisfying about the way Jackson reached this point. Dallas drafted him in the 5th round back in 2019. He bounced through Detroit and New England. Seattle finally gave him a real foothold in the league. Then, Carolina traded for him, and suddenly, a player who had spent years trying to establish himself became a 17-game starter. 2 times. That's one of my favorite NFL careers. Not the first-round pick, where everybody knows from draft night what's supposed to happen. It's the guy who keeps hanging around until eventually everybody realizes, wait, he's actually pretty good. As we sit here in August of 2026, Michael Jackson, he's still there. Still number 2, still in that Panthers secondary, which means, unlike Robin Roberts, David Wood, and Glenn Anderson, we don't actually know where his Panthers career is going to stop. So that's Thursday, August 27th. Robin Roberts, David Wood, Glenn Anderson, Michael Jackson. 4 completely different ways to leave a footprint on a franchise. And I'll be back tomorrow with 4 more. I'm Kevin. Thanks for stopping by. Watch another one, like and subscribe, follow, whatever. Hope to see you again. Bye.